In fact, after we cover the hip thrust, our stroke action will naturally follow. Once you understand how to draw back and thrust the hips, how does this connect to my stroke? Mastering the hip movement means you've basically mastered the entire forehand technique. What is the complete action? Let me first pose a question. Today we'll briefly discuss the framework. Today we'll just introduce it briefly. First, let me tell you one thing. Our hand action is not formed in isolation. Remember this. Whether it's forehand drive, topspin, or backspin, our hand action is never created just by swinging the arm. This is called an isolated arm movement. Many amateur players have unstable and lack quality in their loops, cannot generate power, fail to recover properly, and face a host of other issues like lack of continuity. All these stem from forming the stroke by just swinging the arm. During this process, no matter how much you try to feel the leg drive or waist action, the two most common questions are about how the body and legs generate force, and how to create friction. Aren't these the two main issues? Today we'll solve the first one, how the body and legs generate force. Remember, just swinging your arm, you'll never transfer the full power from your body and legs. Today we'll briefly introduce the forehand framework. First, relax your whole body. Remember, your shoulders must be relaxed. You don't need to engage your shoulders when playing. Don't focus on your upper arm, chest, or anything else. Just let your arms hang down naturally. Then, raise them to form a triangle. Just form a triangle. Remember, the key is to relax first. Don't tense up, just relax and let them hang, then form a triangle. That's it. After forming the triangle, flatten your hand to find the batting stance. Just flatten the triangle for the batting posture. The non-playing hand makes a fist and retracts. This forms our ready stance. This is our normal ready position for playing. So how does the forehand drive happen? At this stage, many players just retract and turn the hip like this. Is this the forehand drive? You think about the hip thrust, so you just thrust. This is incorrect. It might look standard, but I'm telling you, this is wrong. This is just swinging the arm to make the stroke. You won't generate any power this way. This is called an arm swinging action. Even if the form is correct, it's useless. So what should we do? Remember a mantra before playing. Legs lead the waist, waist leads the arm. We said before, the hips are the joint connecting the upper and lower body. So when we play, the body is connected to the arm. If my body rotates, my arm will naturally follow the body's rotation and move. When I rotate my body, doesn't my arm naturally follow? The hand always follows the body. Don't make isolated hand movements. After setting up the triangle, the first step is to retract the hips inward. See, after setting the triangle, just retract your hips. For a forehand drive, just retract your hips. See, when I retract my hips, my hand doesn't move. But my forehand drive preparation is already formed. This is legs lead waist, waist leads arm. This is the correct power accumulation logic. It's the same when holding the racket. As soon as I retract my hips, my hand naturally comes back and opens up. During this, my hand didn't move actively, but my drive preparation is already formed. Did I pull my arm back? No, my hand didn't move at all. You need relaxed power generation. Can you generate power relaxed like this? If you pull back like this, can you stay relaxed? You can't relax. This is why many players can't feel the whip-like action. If you're tight, how can you relax and whip? So the first step is to retract the hips. Just by retracting your hips, your hand moves into position and the correct action forms. The second step, the forward swing, is the same. We just talked about retracting for the backswing. For the forward swing, don't focus on swinging the forearm or arm either. Again, focus on the hips. Retract inward to accumulate force, then thrust forward for the hit. See, I just retract and thrust. Retract and thrust, retract and thrust, retract and thrust. My hand follows, doesn't it? Retract, thrust, retract, thrust, retract, thrust. The hand comes through. In this process, is my hand moving actively? No. This is legs lead waist, waist leads arm. This is follow through. This is how I can feel the so-called body hitting sensation. This is the importance of hip rotation. Hip rotation not only helps you feel leg and body power, but also helps you find the correct power sequence and stroke framework. This is the importance of hip turn. Retract, thrust, retract, thrust, retract, thrust. See, in this process, my hand isn't moving actively, but my hand moves along. This way, I can better feel the waist and leg power. My drive stroke also forms naturally. This is the hip thrust. Just thrust here. Relax the arms. Thrust, hit, hit, hit. Now you have the forehand. You've got the forehand drive. Your stroke is formed. Moreover, your stroke is less likely to deform this way. It's easy to form and hard to lose the feeling. You won't feel off after not playing for a few days. Why? Because you're following your body. Your framework is set. How could you lose it? Your hand barely moves. This was our first point about the forehand drive. So what's the second step? The second is about the forehand loop. Some say for the loop, this range isn't enough. I need to pull back further. I see pros with a big backswing. I'm telling you, also rely on hip turn. Don't actively pull the arm back. You say this is enough for the drive, but for the loop, I can just turn my hips more. For the drive, I use a smaller turn. For the loop, I turn more. If I turn to this extent, isn't that enough for looping? If I turn here or here, isn't that enough? I turn the hip here. Is it enough for the loop? Surely enough. This is also the power of hip turn. See, also using hip turn to bring my arm back. Hip turn, using this power to bring my hand back. I also complete the power accumulation. This is also legs lead waist, waist leads arm. In this process, my hand is still relaxed. This is the correct power logic, finding relaxed power. If you just swing your arm, you'll never find relaxed power. Relaxed power isn't developed that way. It must be retract, thrust. In this process, my arm isn't moving, so I'm naturally relaxed. Now, regarding the question about the framework. Why do some players always think about how close the shoulder or elbow should be? How far the forearm should go? Whether to lower the shoulder, how high to lift the arm, or what angle to swing to. You ask these questions because you care about the surface. Table tennis is never a fixed formula. It's not that for this specific loop I must swing back to this exact spot. Today I teach looping back here, tomorrow another coach says back there, or I always have problems. My arm lifts when looping, I push my elbow out, I raise my shoulder, or I wonder how far my elbow should be from my body. You ask these because you haven't grasped the correct framework. If I just retract my hips, do I still have these issues? If I retract inward, I have everything. No more problems. If the ball is coming slow, I turn more for a bigger action. If the ball is fast, I turn less, so my hand might only go this far. Where my hand ultimately goes is determined by my hip turn, based on the ball's timing and speed, not by someone telling you today to swing here, tomorrow there. Today wipe the butt, tomorrow take it sideways. That's not understanding correct table tennis. You must watch the ball. If there's time, turn more, if not, turn less. Where my hand pulls back is determined by my hip turn and the ball's timing. It's the same for power generation. Why do some players not feel the so-called finger power? Why do some say looping doesn't involve forearm folding? Or how to release the power? Or that finger power is nonsense? Or they can't understand or use what athletes mean by finger power. Believing looping just requires forearm folding, not fingers. Why? Because if you swing like this, you must fold the forearm. To swing your arm here, you must actively fold your forearm. So you don't feel the finger grip sensation. If you actively folding, can you still focus attention on your fingers? Can just gripping forward with your fingers produce the stroke, gripping like this? No one teaches that. So, with an incorrect swinging motion and power framework, you can't feel specialized finger power, and you don't understand it. You might think it's exaggerated or just a feeling, not real. So why do we emphasize it? Because our framework forms like this. We don't need to overthink how the upper and forearm should move. I don't need to focus my attention on my forearm and upper arm. I just retract and turn my hips, and my forearm and upper arm naturally follow the hip turn. See, my hand doesn't move. I just retract and thrust. My hand naturally follows. This formed structure is the framework, but it's not the complete stroke. At this stage, I add the grip action. Only in this context can I feel the grip. That's why pros talk about gripping the racket. But many amateurs feel they still need forearm folding, that gripping is unreliable, or they don't understand it. Thinking no folding, no power. That's the problem. Incorrect power logic and framework. Some say swinging ends at the eyebrow is wrong. As long as you can generate power and recover, you can finish anywhere. Some finish here, some here, some here. There's no single standard. I personally believe there really is no standard. Some finish here and can generate power. If you can generate power, recover, and feel comfortable, that's fine. If you can stop here, that's okay, even if it goes slightly over. Some finish here for higher quality. Some here for better recovery. Watch TV. It's the same for amateur and pro players. Some finish like this, some like that, some like this. Whatever feels comfortable and allows good recovery is fine. Don't rigidly insist on a specific finish point. There are no rigid movements. Movements form naturally based on your power framework and are fine-tuned according to the ball's variation. I don't finish in the same spot for every ball. Sometimes it's a wide angle. I can't get there. The ball is here. Can I reach it finishing here? No. Then I adjust my footwork and swing wider. Of course. Movement is not a fixed formula, not that every technique must look exactly this way. Why do amateurs often train well but can't perform in matches? Think about it. Are the balls you face in matches the same as in practice? Or watch pros. Their practice looks very standard. But in matches, don't they also use this shot, that shot? Of course they do. This relies on the body framework for adjustment, adapting to the ball's situation. If the ball is close to my body, I make a smaller action. Can I? Of course. If the ball is wide, I reach a bit more, finish further. Can I? Of course. Adapt to the ball. That's the framework. But people always think about the appearance, always imitate it. That seems shallow and one-sided. Framework, framework, framework. The most important thing in playing is the legs and body, the legs and core. The arms are the final link. Remember this. Arm power is always the very last component. The final part involves a sequential power transfer starting from the legs. The final component is the fine-tuning of the fingers and wrist, not the forearm or upper arm.